Let's see. Is this working? All right. It says that we're live, so I'm going to assume that we are live. And this is the first episode of Let's Talk Physical Media that we are actually doing live. If we are live, leave some comments in the comment section. Like this one. Make sure let your friends know about it. It's the first time we're doing this one live. I'm just going to check on my phone to make sure everything is working. It still says upcoming on my phone, but it looks like everything is working a-okay. So if you guys are new to this, Let's Talk Physical Media is the show that we do every single Sunday that used to be pre-taped, where I would let you guys know about all the physical media news for the week. John Doe Juggalo is here, who has a great YouTube channel as well. What's up, Jeff? Good to see you, buddy. And it was a Sunday tradition here on the channel for many years. It started way back in the day when me and my cousin Matt were still doing the show together. It was kind of like a fun thing. We talked about the news, what we liked, what we didn't like. We would also then answer questions in the Q&A. Then that just kind of became my show when the channel became my own. And same thing, I was just, physical media news up front, then answered some questions out on the back end of it. But then we kind of split everything up, and now the Q&A is kind of the Let's Talk morning show, and now Let's Talk Physical Media, which will be still just a news show, and then of course talking to you guys in the comments what you guys are interested in, but going over the physical media news from the week before. So I'm not going to waste any of your time. We'll get right into some of the news. I guess first we'll start with obviously Tron coming to 4K Blu-ray, and Tron Legacy coming to 4K Blu-ray. We should get some steelbooks here in the U.S. I imagine this is all that the United States will get. Over in the U.K., they will most likely get those standard editions that are right here. I actually really like the standard editions, and maybe I will have those imported. But like as you guys saw in the headline, we're going to be talking tariffs here today because everyone loves to talk about tariffs. So we'll get into that. But I'm really excited to get Tron and Tron Legacy coming to 4K Blu-ray. I've been checking to make sure I don't miss out on the Amazon, pre-orders, because they went up on Walmart last night, then they came back into stock. Not sure if they're back into stock yet, but I am very excited for these to be coming to 4K with new Dolby Vision, new Dolby Atmos. Tron Legacy also will have, if I heard correctly, will have the IMAX enhanced scenes. So that's awesome. So I'm very excited about these. What did John Doe Juggle say? Will this be live on Wednesdays now rather than a Sunday upload? Yes, this will be a weekly live show now every Wednesday night at 6:45. I'm going to be trying to shift the actual show itself, and actually just the channel in general, to a more live experience. We have the Tuesday morning live stream that me and Dennis do every Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. And now this will be every Wednesday, just to really help with the editing. I know, John Doe, about how, Jeff, about how editing is and how frustrating and how long it can take. And honestly, I've been getting pretty burnt out by the editing. And this is really, this is where the fun is. This is, for me, this is the juice. It's talking to you guys and, interacting with the chat. My favorite things to do are like to film with Dennis and film with David, aka Shamrock Balls, talk and film, editing. It's fun. It can be fun, but I've been doing this now for 4 years, and yeah, it's really starting to burn me out to do 5 videos of editing a week. If I could just split it up into like half the week live and half the week still doing pre-filmed videos, like obviously the 4K reviews, which were been a little slow, and we won't even have new 4K Blu-ray reviews for a couple of weeks. So just because everything's coming out in like October, it's trying to save a little bit of money because I buy everything myself. So it gets a little pricey, and I'm not going to buy something if I'm not really too interested. So the beginning of September is a little slow, and then we start to pick it up in the middle of September, like I said, with Tron over here. That's going to be coming back into play. So when that comes out, September 16th, that's also the same week as this is Spinal Tap, and Crawl is coming to 4K Blu-ray, 4K Steelbook, which is actually our channel director, Stone Gasmask's monthly choice review. So he asked me to actually review that anyway. So kind of works out as a double win, I would say. And John Doe Juggalo also said, the editing is the most draining of the whole YouTube thing, honestly. Yeah, it really is. And it's not something that gets better over time, and honestly just wears on you even more, and especially if like your videos are always edited the same exact way. Like, if you kind of have like a template for them, like, my film and 4K Blu-ray reviews, like it's all set up where I do the review in the front, then the 4K Blu-ray review on the back end. It kind of becomes monogamous because you're just kind of just doing the same thing over and over, where really you just kind of want to talk about the movie and talk about the 4K. But I still like it, and that's why the videos kind of lately have been a little bit more like something I'm a little bit more interested in. Like I really enjoy doing the videos with Dennis and David. But once the 4K Blu-rays come in for like Nightmare on Elm Street and everything, like we'll have plenty more. Like we're not getting away from 4K Blu-ray reviews. Just want to do more live shows. I also think that it's fun to interact with you guys, and my understanding is that most people actually enjoy this stuff more than watching the pre-film stuff. So we'll give it a try. I imagine like the views for this will probably get lower than what the Sunday video would do, but that's fine. I understand that. It's just that's the live experience. We got to kind of change the channel and everyone's like viewing habits of the channel here a little bit, just because if I could do more like this, it'll just make it a lot more easier on me, just because the editing really is the most draining thing on YouTube. Jeff's right. That's the one thing that really gets a little bit overwhelming. And over time, I can't say it gets any better. So we could still do this and like the show will be longer and then we can all chat with each other, which is awesome, which I appreciate. Ben Rondo, hey John and everyone, what's up, Ben? Glad you can make it here. Thanks for coming to Let's Talk Physical Media Live. We were talking about Tron. I don't know, how do you guys feel about Tron coming to 4K and 4K Steelbook with new Dolby Vision upgrades, which by the way, I don't know if you guys saw, I haven't looked too much into it and like what it like, the equipment, if our equipment will still be able to be used or if it's just like a new HDR thing that TVs and everything wouldn't have to be upgraded to use new Dolby Vision 2. I thought that was pretty interesting that they announced that. I don't know how much better the color grading can get. Like I'm guessing this is like wider color gamut, but this is pretty cool. I know this is really the thing that sells 4K Blu-rays to me is not necessarily the extra sharpness, 4 times the sharpness of what a regular 1080p Blu-ray used to be. But now when you go to 4K, obviously that's the thing that stands out. But I thought the thing that really sells 4K Blu-rays is the high dynamic range and Dolby Vision. And honestly, last week when I saw Batman 89, and now I'm expecting them to actually re-release Batman 89. Not sure about Batman Returns, but definitely Batman 89 with the new Dolby Vision color grading, which when I saw it last week in theaters, which an incredible experience, by the way, is, they took away a lot of the blue. So if you were frustrated with the blue in like the last release, which I know people were still thought it was a little too dark, and I actually think it's a little too bright. So, I'm not one of those people, and I still think it's a little bit too bright, but the coloring is definitely better now. So I'm excited. I'm hoping that they re-release that with the brand new 4K Dolby Vision color grading. But now it's pretty interesting that Dolby Vision 2 is something that's apparently on the table, and I'm interested to see where they go with that. Just like exactly like what we would need, because like that's kind of the thing, like we always talking about, is 8K a possibility? It's a possibility, but it's like almost an unnecessary goal to reach, because what are your eyes really picking up? Your eyes will though pick up like a wider color gamut, so that is very interesting. Dolby Vision 2 will require at least a new TV. See, that's something I didn't know. The first brand to support it will be Hisense. Interesting. That's one I didn't expect. And then LG right behind them. So that means probably in the next year or two, we'll get re-releases of some of these scans with Dolby Vision 2 on it, which will obviously, people like me will get FOMO, and I'm sure like yourselves want to grab those. That's probably when I'll upgrade my TVs when that rolls around, and get something with Dolby Vision 2, because I will be very interested to see exactly what that changes, if it makes a difference or not. And I'm sure like there'll be new 4K Blu-ray. I assume there would be new 4K Blu-ray players out there. I don't think this will be like a digital only. I hope it's not a digital only thing. I know everything's shifting digital only, but the show's called Let's Talk Physical Media. I'm hoping that this is, something that impacts the physical media community more than obviously the digital collecting community. Nothing against them, by the way. Also today, interestingly enough, like perfect timing, we got everything that we needed to know about that what Shout and Scream Factory will be doing for November. And apparently Death Wish 3, which we knew was coming, will be coming in November, which is awesome. Death Wish 1 and 2 already come to 4K Blu-ray from different studios. If I remember, the first Death Wish came from Kino Lorber in the United States. Death Wish 2 was Vinegar Syndrome, and now right behind them, Shout Factory with Death Wish 3. Interesting. This one, from what I understand, had I haven't seen this movie, The Beastmaster, but this I think had a Vinegar Syndrome release, so that's always interesting when that happens. Snowden, didn't see this movie, heard mixed things on it. I don't think this will be something that will make me want to go out and grab it. Now, this movie, I have the Blu-ray. This is a very, very good film, a Best Picture winner. stacked cast. This was like kind of during the Michael Keaton like renaissance, like right after Birdman, which he should have won an Academy Award for. Got screwed over on that one, in my opinion. But here we'll be getting Spotlight on 4K Blu-ray, which is awesome. I'll probably get this one more than likely. If any of these, this is the one that probably stands out the most to me. Vampires is getting a 4K Steelbook release. You guys know how I feel about them doing these like 4K Steelbook re-releases of 4K Blu-rays. This only came out a few months ago. I'm not too sure why the option wasn't available then. The Howling. I actually already have the 4K Blu-ray for this. This steelbook is interesting. I kind of like it because I always like it when these colors are stand out like this. But I'm not sure I would be somebody who would go out and grab this. If you don't have it yet, I thought this was a very good 4K Blu-ray. So that's what we're going to be having come from Shout and Scream Factory for November. I'm hoping the LG C6 will have the Dolby Vision 2 and the 144 frames. The C5 went with 144 frames. The Dolby Vision 2 physical media only compatible and would also boost Dolby Vision 1 content. Well, that's awesome to know. So yeah, I'd be very interested in this. This is something I probably would go out and grab and get something like that as long as I can save the money for, or hopefully get a loan, because it's definitely something that I will get FOMO and want to grab. I have right now in the office here an LG C1, and then the living room I have an LG C2. Both of them, I believe the panels are still pretty much the same as what the panels are right now. Good evening, Mr. Smelly Potato. I'm glad you can make it here, buddy. Our channel bankroll member, guy keeping the lights on here. Do you want Dragnet special edition? I would be interested in that if that ever came to 4K. Or definitely a collector's edition. So yeah, November for Shout and Scream Factory, a little bit slower. November, I'm hoping to save a little bit of money, but there are some great releases. We talked about what's happening with Criterion and what they'll be releasing in November. A lot of great stuff. Definitely Eyes Wide Shut and House Party I will be grabbing 100%. Anything in here, more than likely, the only one I can say for sure I'll be grabbing is Spotlight. Not too sure what you guys are interested as far as the Shout and Scream Factory stuff goes. But this is the stuff that kind of stood out to me, obviously. And one thing that we didn't get to talk about last week either that got kind of announced was The Descent, which will be coming here in the United States through Lionsgate Limited. It was always rumored to be Second Sight. Then it got rumored to be Shout. And now it's believed to be Lionsgate Limited. We've kind of heard about this 4K scan coming for a while now. Awesome that it's apparently real, which I'm really glad about. Brett's in here, and what did Brent say? He said order both Tron Steelbooks today from Barnes and Noble. See, I got to check them. They were more than Walmart by $5, but I don't see I see listings are down. Are they just super limited? Why? Not too sure exactly. There hasn't been a full press release yet when it comes to the Trons. We haven't gotten like the official announcement. So these, we're just kind of waiting for pre-orders, and this is exactly what happened with the Nightmare on Elm Street collection too. The Steelbook announcement came out after the pre-orders had already come out and had sold out already, which was really messed up to do to people, because you wait for the press release, then they like send the links out really fast, and then like they kind of sell out of these. They create a demand that way. It's just, that's all it really is, a simple supply and demand. They're going to put these out for $40 or $45 from Barnes and Noble. And, we're going to grab them in the United States. I believe this will be our only option. And a lot of us, including myself, have been looking forward to these. I'm hoping to just be able to get them. I just, I'm waiting for the Amazon links to go up so I can order them with a couple of things for November. But we'll have to wait and see. Which I have has a horrible video transfer. I haven't seen it in a long time, Patrick, so I have to check it out. But I don't, I did a review, very early review here on the channel, and that was the last time I watched it. The movie itself, I mean, I remember it also has really bad effects, but I really enjoy The Howling. I think it's actually a very fun, cheesy 80s werewolf movie. We had a bunch of them, a dime a dozen at the time, and I think that's just a really good one. What else we got? When you join Screen Factory Plus for 200 a year, if you got 25 things you choose, I don't know. Like, that's another thing. Like, I like that they do that. Vinegar Syndrome does things like that. Like, these kind of memberships. It's just tough to know for sure. Like, if everything is going to be good and worth your money. That's my only thing on these kind of things. Do you like King Ralph? I don't think I've ever seen King Ralph Acres of Movies, to be honest, if I'm being 100% honest. So yeah, as far as the Trons, I'm glad that you were able to get them. Hoping to be able to grab them myself. Still waiting for the Amazon links. It's very strange that they haven't put those ones up yet. I mean, I know you'll be able to get them. I checked right actually before I went live. I checked some other places to see if they had links out for them yet. To see if maybe the Atomic Movie Store would get them as well, but didn't see their links out for anything yet. They have their other stuff, the Shout and Scream stuff that came out today. We didn't get to talk yet about any of the Arrow releases officially. We kind of talked about the rumors because Dawn of the Discs, I believe, dropped all the rumors for this, and like pretty much everything just got confirmed. And what we got confirmed was pretty good. I mean, obviously, the thing that I'm most interested in, and I think a lot of you, including myself, obviously, is The Mask officially coming to 4K Blu-ray. This is one I couldn't get the pre-order in fast enough. One of the holy grails of physical media for me was getting The Mask on 4K Blu-ray. Right there you can see everything. The newspaper is great. I love that. The disc, the original movie poster, all of that is just something that a lot of us have been asking for. So that's the thing that stood out the most for them, which, between that and a couple other things, November's looking not as expensive as October, but still looking pretty damn expensive. Mr. Smiley's Potato said, I want the Tron movies. I'm waiting for Amazon pre-order. That's exactly what I'm waiting for, because I want to put that kind of in a bundle with some stuff in November as well. So hopefully they get that up pretty soon. The Mask, yay. Yeah, that's the one that I'm looking the most forward to. I'm sure you are too. Hopefully you guys got your pre-orders. I don't think those sold out. I don't know if everybody's as excited for The Mask as like a bunch of us are. I was surprised to see how many people are excited for Red Planet to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. That's one that kind of stood out to me. I didn't expect the love for that. What else? The Apartment, like we already have, I believe, a US Kino Lorber release of this. So I was the Mask for Halloween. Rick Ryberg, my buddy Rick, said he was the Mask for Halloween in 1996. Rick, I am like pretty sure I was the Mask for Halloween in 1996 as well. And it's either 96 or 97. And I'm like 95% sure it was 1996 with the green pullover mask and the yellow suit. It might have had a hat. I'm not 100% sure, but I remember like the mouth like was the white teeth, and like you couldn't, like, you kind of spoke through it and it kept getting wet. Really something that I remember very much back in the day. Dude, I love Red Planet. So you'd recommend Red Planet then, right, Jeff? Because it's something I've never seen. So I'm pretty like interested, because when they announced that, I believe more people were excited for Red Planet than they were for The Mask, which I was like, really? But I know that The Mask is this movie that's like special to me and like a certain group of people, and maybe not everybody, but it looks like Red Planet has its own core group of fans as well. And The Apartment, this is cool. This, I believe, is a UK release only, because, like I said, Kino Lorber, I believe, are the ones who did the US release of this. I love the artwork on it. I love that the slip is different from the artwork underneath. I always think that stands out. Good picture. I know people are really excited about this, but didn't love the artwork for Outland. And I'll admit, it's a unique choice. It definitely doesn't stand out to me. Usually I like colors like this, but this is a choice that I don't know if I necessarily completely agree with. Jeff said, John Joe Juggalo, I want the Mask and Red Planet and hoping to stag them both on a 50% off sale. Yeah, I didn't get anything else but the Mask. The Mask, I kind of accepted that I'm going to pay full price for that, because I have to have that on day one regardless, just because it's the Mask, and I would be like literally kicking myself. So yeah, here's Red Planet as well with the new artwork, which has obviously the reverse slip cover on it, which you can have. I guess that's the original movie art, if I am correct. Now that Jeff's talking about it, I'm very interested in it. Here's Outland again. So that's the stuff that I'm most interested in. That's everything we got from Arrow. Let's see. Like we just talked about the Descent. What else is coming out? Oh, this is some other stuff from Shout we haven't gotten into yet. Hard Boiled. I know a lot of people were not too happy about the artwork for Hard Boiled. I'm not too surprised about that. I'm not a big fan myself, but A Better Tomorrow trilogy, I thought the artwork for this actually is very good. I'm also a big fan of the Hong Kong, the Hong Kong Classics logo that they put down here in the right-hand corner. Kind of just helps it to stand out. I'm not a huge fan of green as the base color, but it does kind of work with the gold, so I get what they were going for. Hard Boiled is one of the most famous action films of all time, directed by John Woo, so I know a lot of people are excited, just not thrilled with the art, which I understand. So I don't know how you guys feel about Hard Boiled coming to 4K Blu-ray, but I was excited about that. Are you getting Rocky Horror Picture Show? That's one I haven't pre-ordered yet for October, to be honest with you, just because October is looking a little expensive. Maybe we'll go over that towards the end of the video, everything that's coming out in October, but that's one I haven't pre-ordered yet. but I really want to. That and there's actually a couple more that are coming out that month that I want to still pre-order. I have a lot that I've already paid off. Like most of the stuff I've paid off for that month, like Spawn and In the Mouth of Madness, I've paid those off, but I haven't paid off everything. And then when I do, I'll probably go back in there, and hopefully there's still some left of Rocky Horror Picture Show, because that's getting only a steelbook release as well, which kind of does suck. But I understand that seems to be the new thing, and I don't remember who it was. It might have been, I don't remember what channel it was, but they were talking about how the U.S. Physical media market compared to the UK physical media market, believe it or not, it doesn't sell as well in the US, which did kind of surprise me, but sells really well in the UK, which definitely adds up to how the UK is always getting those very nice special editions for like releases like The Exorcist, or more recently like Lethal Weapon. They get these really beautiful physical releases, where in the US we get like one option. Sometimes they'll throw in the slipcover sometimes, and usually it's with the worst artwork. Ian says Hard Boiled and Face Off would be a great John Woo double feature. Both for me are 90s action masterpieces. Those are definitely my two favorite John Woo films as well. I always loved Face Off. Nicolas Cage just over the top, John Travolta over the top. It works perfectly. I could eat a peach for hours. Absolutely love that. Acres of Movies. I recommend Roller Coaster. Oh, I'll check that one out as well. Yeah, but Hard Boiled is an absolute classic. Invented so much in the action genre that has been basically ripped off by so many great action directors. You can make fun of certain stuff from John Woo, like the doves and everything like that. And I still don't think that, me personally, at least, I still don't think that Mission Impossible 2 is that great of a movie, even though the guy just knows how to shoot action almost better than everybody. What's that movie he did a couple years ago? It was a silent film. Silent Night, Violent Night, or something like that, or Silent Night, Deadly. I can't remember. It was something like that. And it was basically, and the action in that movie was still great, even though the plot of it really wasn't that interesting, if I'm being honest. So I wanted more out of that movie. It just didn't 100% work, but John Woo still knows how to make a great action film. It's still in there. So, Hard Boiled is still probably his best if I'm going to pick one. So I'm really glad that's the one that's getting the beautiful treatment. I highly recommend The Cat, 1991, 88 Films, New Region A, from the director of The Seventh Curse, 1986. Fun, bonkers alien cat movie. Well, fun, bonkers alien cat movie is a sentence that automatically sells me on the film, so that's awesome. I'll definitely look into that. If you guys can hit that like button, that does actually really help these videos. That's something that I've recently found out. So I'm a little late, better late than never, I guess, when it comes to like finding out like what they do here on YouTube and making sure that these videos get a little more traction. But I appreciate it. A lot of people are here live. Awesome, guys, thank you so much. And more stuff that they've talked about. I don't know if any of you guys got to see some of the showings this past weekend about the new Toxic Avenger that took years to finally come out. Obviously, this is a remake of the original Toxic Avenger, which put Lloyd Kaufman and Trauma on the map. Without that film, we wouldn't have all the great Trauma films that have come out over the years. And you can think about it, we wouldn't have James Gunn then, and then we wouldn't end up with the whole new DCU and the new Superman movie. So all of that came out of Trauma, and all of that started with Toxie back in the day with the original Toxic Avenger, which just had individual 4K Blu-ray releases as well, really to line up to promote the new Toxic Avenger, which just got released in theaters, which I haven't seen yet. I might just actually wait to grab this double feature right here, which is awesome. I believe this is the official artwork for it, so I'll definitely probably wait for this. I think it's coming out in October. I want to say October 28th. So that's good to hear. You can buy it, I believe, also just on its own. Yeah, like right here, if you just have the original one. Like I had 1 through 4, I believe, come out in a box set, I want to say in 2023, and then they did the individual releases this year. Still only really like the original one. And Trauma films, they're hit or miss. You know what you're getting into when you watch a Trauma film, and it's really like, for me, it's the house that the Toxic Avenger built. Really, it's still the best one. I haven't seen the new one. I don't know if you guys have seen it and enjoyed it. I've heard mixed to good things on it. I'll definitely check it out at some point. Let's see what Ben Rondo says. Ben Rondo says, I'm ordering the Nice Guys 4K this Friday. Hopefully it don't sell out on me. LOL. Nice Guys is a fantastic 4K Blu-ray. Still some of the best visuals of 2025, in my opinion. the Second Sight 4K Blu-ray. That is, the Warner Brothers 4K is not the same scan. That's a 2K intermediate upscaled to 4K. So I personally would only recommend. I haven't seen the Warner Brothers one, but I can't imagine it looks that great. I imagine it looks exactly like the previously released Blu-ray, just upscaled to 4K Blu-ray. So I don't know if you guys are interested in the Toxic Avenger. I'm very interested. Another one that I heard right here. The Emperor's New Groove, celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, is supposedly getting a new 4K Blu-ray release from Disney sometime later in the year. I believe I heard December. And I remember seeing this movie in theaters way back in the day in a special early screening. I've only seen it a couple times since, though. It's not actually one of my personal favorite Disney movies that I've run back to, but I know that it's a lot of people's favorite Disney movie, so that's probably one that they're all looking forward to. I imagine it's getting the same Disney treatment as a lot of releases like Tron, so I think we can expect like a Dolby Vision upgrade, maybe possibly a Dolby Atmos upgrade on this one. I'm glad to see it getting the 4K Blu-ray treatment. Always glad to see, beloved Disney films, even though Disney hasn't given all of their classics the right treatment. It does look like they're actually getting better at it. We're getting better Atmos tracks that aren't as muted as the older ones were, thankfully. And here's one that we didn't get into, and it's pretty much already sold out. Not everywhere though, but that's Imprint's release of the Halloween films 1 through 5 on 4K Steelbook with this beautiful jack-o'-lantern casing that you can holster them all in, and that plugs in and lights up. I think it's beautiful. I believe it was going for $350, and that's a little bit crazy, even though it is beautiful and those steelbooks are absolutely stunning. And if you're a Halloween fan, how do you not try and get this one? Like, you owe it to yourself if you can afford it. Like me, myself, honestly, I couldn't afford something like this, even if I wish I could. It's a little bit out of my price range. And I already have the Halloween movies that I want on 4K Blu-ray. So I have Halloween 1, 2, 3, and 4 on 4K from Shout and Scream Factories. They were just Scream Factory releases in those beautiful hard boxes that came out a few years ago. I didn't get Halloween 5, 6, and H2O, though, or Resurrection. I do want to grab H2O, which has 2 4K releases, though. And then obviously the most recent trilogy of Halloween movies, not the Rob Zombie ones, which haven't come to 4K yet. So this is 1 through 5, which is actually the same thing that Shout Factory did release back in the day. They released 1 through 5 separately, then released the other ones a year later, where you can only get them in a box set. And I think that that's still the only way. And I think you can only buy these in the box set as well, which is pretty interesting. Van Gool is here. What's up, everyone? Glad you can make it, buddy. I would not buy this. I am with you. I'm with you on 4K movies. Yeah, like that's to me, it's just a little bit excessive. It's something I think for the true fans. Like, I mean, obviously, I consider myself a true Halloween fan too. I have both original Halloween on 4K from Lionsgate and from this, and I also have the original Scream Factory release from back in the day, which had up until that time all of the Halloween for Blu-rays, so all the way up through the 2 Rob Zombie movies, which again are still the only 2 that haven't had 4K Blu-ray releases. And I wish the 4K for Halloween Ends never existed. Hey, oh, you guys were talking to each other. My bad, guys. But yeah, this is just something I love it. I truly do. It's beautiful. It's something, if I had the extra money lying around, I would buy. But if you're on a budget, this is something it's a little bit absurd. It's a high price to add. It's a true collector's item. I believe it was only 1,000 of them originally. So it's something I kind of understand, like what they're going for. It's not something that's supposed to be for everybody. They realize it's like the Never Ending Story one that they did last year. That beautiful big one. It's not for everybody. The Super Mario Brothers version is not for everybody. And these are the same scans that have already been used. So I don't know if you guys I see that most people aren't interested like I am. Go to Spirit Halloween, buy a pumpkin, and build yourself one like this. You could do that as well. And Frank, I know, built a beautiful housing for his Halloween collection as well, where it's obviously the Myers house. It's beautiful. You can do things like that if you're creative. You don't have to be forcing yourself to buy something like this, but if you want it, I support that decision. It's not something I will personally be grabbing, but I understand. And I think that's as far as like all the news that I have off the top right now. I wanted to talk to you guys today though about unfortunately, I want to talk to you guys a little bit like you guys saw in the headline about tariffs because tariffs are a big talking point in the physical media community right now. I have had a few people reach out to me and ask me about the news that came out, I believe last week. Kind of actually came out the day the last Let's Talk Physical Media came out, but giving me some time to look into it and see exactly what's going on. So tariffs, if people don't know what tariffs are, it's basically a tax imposed on another country on their goods coming into a different country. It's not something that's exclusive to the United States. It's kind of a worldwide thing. A lot of countries have tariffs. It's just basically a tax. Now, why would this be something that affects the physical media community? Well, you've probably seen in the news that tariffs are a big deal right now because certain countries pay a certain amount while others don't. So, UK countries like coming into the United States, I'm not too sure exactly which countries are paying what tariffs or what percentages. I'm not a political expert. I'm also not somebody who's keeping track of all that kind of stuff. Just kind of know about the certain things that are going to, affect you and me in the physical media world and how that's going to hit us. So the belief is always that the countries pay the tariffs or the businesses pay the tariffs. In theory, that's how a tariff should work. Is it should be eaten by the, unfortunately, by those businesses, but it's not happening that way. What's going on, buddy? What's up, Mozart's Ghost? Glad you can make it here, man. So yeah, the tariffs, it doesn't exactly work that way. The companies themselves are never going to eat that kind of thing. They're not going to swallow that like loss of money. We've seen, I think, in Sony with the PlayStation 5s recently going up in price. They said the tariffs had a $650 million hit on their company. Now, Sony can afford that $650 million hit. I think we all know that, but they're not going to do that. So they're going to honestly always hit it in the pocket of the consumer. They'll raise the prices on a 5-year-old console, which is something that's unprecedented. At this point, PlayStation consoles should be going down in price. By the 5th year, should be about $300 coming out with some holiday bundles that we all look forward to who've been waiting to get a PlayStation 5. Not a $50 price increase, even though there's the PS5 Pro out there, which is a beautiful upgraded system. Now that costs more money too. It's just something that doesn't really make a lot of sense because the consumers are the ones who actually have to end up paying the prices for the tariffs. We're the ones who have to eat that on the taxes. Now, we haven't gotten hit with these yet as far as like small packages because packages under $800 weren't being hit with tariffs until recently when they said that they will be getting hit with that. Apple wants products to be made mostly in the U.S. We will see what the new Apple TV will cost, which that's the whole thing. And it's supposed to put pressure on the companies to take those jobs, take those factories and bring them to the United States and create jobs or whatever country you live in. Take the jobs like the everything and have that stuff produced in country. So that way it's exclusive to your country and that people would pay. It's a great in theory, but that's not what's happening. That's the problem right now. There is literally a 750 digitally only PS5 markets now, which is just crazy. So that they don't even play physical media. So $800 on parcels or packages were something that weren't being hit with tariffs. And that's why the physical media community, if you were doing imports, because not everybody does, not everybody, 4K Blu-rays are region free. So you can get something that's only released in the UK, have it imported to the United States, vice versa, Australia. We can just anywhere you live, a 4K Blu-ray is usually for 99% of them region free, very different from Blu-ray. So you can get them and play them. And, the Blu-rays they usually packed in are region locked, but, some 4K players, there's a workaround, or you could just buy a region B player or region C player, regardless, region free player works around that as well. So anyway, you do all that. So you can buy these 4Ks. So sometimes I'll buy stuff that's Arrow exclusives to the UK, like the Silence of the Lambs 4K Blu-ray from last year. Here in the United States, we had the Key and the Lorber. The UK version of the Arrow video release is a much better version, in my opinion. So if you want that now and have it imported to the United States, there's going to be an extra tax or a tariff attached to it that now I'm sure at checkout that they'll let you know like what extra amount of money you will be paying because of these parcels or packages now under $800 being hit with tariffs as well. So that's how it's going to start affecting the physical media market from my personal understanding. Patrick Williams says the customers will always eat the tariffs. Then again, a retail store that I work at has price changes going every week, and very few things. Everything's down. Some just are a threat of a tariff hint. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is like I work at a regular consumer job too. Now it's in the food business, but tariffs have affected the food, and all the prices have gone up in store because of that. And a lot of it's fear mongering. It's an unfortunate thing, but it is happening, and like they're the companies like Walmart, they're trying to scare you by saying that we're going to have to raise our prices because we can't afford it. Walmart can afford it. All these major companies can afford it. That's the whole point. Like it's just they choose not to. They choose to allow the consumers to pay because they don't want to have to either cut. And the thing is if they don't do that, they'll start cutting jobs from the bottom, which is always the worst thing that you can do. But that's always what ends up happening as well. So it's always the negative that always kind of ends up hitting the working class, and that's always what bothers me the most. Is that always the people that work the hardest, no matter what country you're in, are always the one that ends up basically footing the bill. They're the ones that have to pay for everything, and that's exactly what's going to happen. There's no reason for Sony to have to raise the prices on PlayStations. Just eat the tariff, but they won't. Or build some factories in each country where you manufacture PlayStations everywhere. Make it easier on like certain countries. You're Sony. You have Sony of America, Sony of Japan. They can do these things. It's just choices, and unfortunately, it, tariffs can be a good thing because they do promote it like it is, because it does raise money to help countries get out of debt. But it shouldn't ever hit the consumer. It shouldn't hit the working class. That's what always really bothers me. And physical media is a very expensive hobby. I know you guys know that. And we just want to be able to have access to all of these kinds of movies in these beautiful collector's editions, no matter where we live. Like, I like that I have the option to get a beautiful version of The Exorcist on 4K Blu-ray. Now I'll have to think about getting the UK release of it before I get the United States release. Like, it follows. And High Tension, I bought the second sight 4K Blu-ray releases, and then a couple of months later, well, actually it's probably about 6 to 8 months later, we get the United States release through Lionsgate Limited. So that always happens as well. We always end up with like the same scan. Same thing with like The Third Man came out in the UK, and then a couple of months later we got it in the United States. It's usually a hint. Usually it's just whoever's holding the rights to it. Doesn't always work that way. Dawn of the Dead, for example, is one that's been, whoever has the United States rights to the Dawn of the Dead is just not going to allow any United States release of that on 4K Blu-ray. So the second sight 4K Blu-ray release, if you want it on 4K, your only option is to get that second sight release. So they kind of back you in a corner that way. And now if you wanted to get that, you'd have to pay a slight tariff fee, I'm sure, which again will hurt you because it's not a cheap thing as it is. We've already seen 4K Blu-rays going up in price. Like, this is becoming a new standard, and we kind of were afraid that this would become the new standard with Tron and Tron Legacy here. We didn't think that like the $40 to $45 price tag for this in the United States is kind of the new normal for a Disney release. Disney and Sony release, that's the new normal for a release. We're not seeing them go on sale because the stock seems to always be kind of limited. They're creating a demand, which is intentional. That's just something that corporations do. They create these demands. They can print more discs. They're just choosing not to. They're Disney. Like these companies have so much money, and we kind of like give them like, oh, well, they won't give us these 4K Blu-ray releases if we don't buy them like this, which is kind of true, but they shouldn't hold, again, the consumer hostage. They should be doing the right thing by the consumer at all times, but they're not. They know what they're doing. Like, why are certain releases more money from different studios? Are they putting the same exact effort in? Boutique studios, for the most part, they're the ones that are going to give you the most love and care, in my opinion. Tron was sold out and not available at Walmart before I could buy it. And that's something, again, like they're creating this demand because these are two movies that people have wanted on 4K Blu-ray since the 4K Blu-ray has been around, which is about 9 years now. People have been asking for Tron and Tron Legacy. They timed it perfectly. They got the new Tron movie coming out. They're going to promote it through these new physical media releases, these new scans. People are excited, but you're not going to create. You're going to create this huge demand for it at a high price that people will pay, including myself, because again, like I guess I'm a little bit guilty of these things as well because I do want Tron and Tron Legacy on 4K Blu-ray. I'm guilty of that. I'm not going to pretend that I don't. I've been waiting for these just like you guys. I'm a physical media collector. It's just that now if I want both of these, like you bought it from Barnes & Noble for $45. Now, if I want both of them, that's $90. Then with taxes and shipping, it's around $100 for two movies on 4K Blu-ray. Boutique levels of Criterion Arrow, they'll have their 50% off sales through Barnes & Noble. And then you can buy about 4 4K Blu-rays from boutique level quality for about $100 at the same exact price you buy these 2 4K steelbooks for. And they won't even give you the standard edition option here in the United States because, like I was talking about earlier, it doesn't sell that well here in the United States physical media and compared to Europe, which again is surprising to me. But I also they really had the push on digital. They really were trying to push everything to digital, new release movies, and they really forgot to concentrate on physical media because it's easier for them. It's cheaper for them to just put things out on digital files and put them out to the world like that. It doesn't really matter what exactly you do. They don't have to have these unique packaging. And then, of course, people find out you don't actually own these movies when you buy movies on digital. When you buy them physically, on the other hand, you actually own them. They can't take them away from you. You have to have the equipment to actually play those kinds of movies, but they can't change them like the French Connection or Crocodile Dundee. They can't censor things. So you own those things, and that's why we collect physical media to own them. And we're a small market still, but I do think that physical media is getting more popular, which if the popularity increases, the prices actually should come down, because again, the thing with companies is they kind of bend over a barrel their fans, which is the most ridiculous thing. But like, look at movie theater prices and what they charge for people to go to the movies. Movies have been struggling for years now, and again, because they chose to concentrate on digital and streaming services, they forgot to concentrate on the theaters and putting movies out in theaters. And now you've trained the common audience to know that eventually those movies will end up on either Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix. If you just wait a certain amount of time, I'm already paying for these streaming services, or even just buying or renting the movie digitally. It's still cheaper than, like, if to go to what I believe, if I'm going to the movies, I always want to go and see a movie in Dolby Cinemas or an IMAX. That's like a $25 ticket now. That's pretty crazy. So, but rent it at home, watch it with everybody, buy some food, do what you got to do, and not have to worry about like good theater etiquette, which people have ignored that as well. Might be worth it. And then the people who still love going to the movies like us, they'll charge you more. We're the ones paying those high prices, and then it's $100 day trip to the movies, and it's insane. We just really can't afford it. I don't get FOMO anymore. I can wait for a standard or a second pressing, but I understand if you run a channel, you want it ASAP. Well, that's the other thing too is, 4K Blu-ray reviews are kind of the bread and butter of the channel, and I've never been somebody who wanted what's it called, review copies. Because I just always feel like I don't want to ever give many of my viewers the kind of thing like, oh, I got this for free, so maybe this is why I'm talking about a certain way. And I like the freedom to be able to knock these studios for what they are and not have to worry about getting something for free out of it. But I'm also not knocking people who do. That's just kind of my thing. So everything I like to buy myself, and if things are going a little tight, my wallet's feeling a little tight, I can't actually buy everything, but I'm getting a little better at just making sure I pick the things that I do want to buy. And like I said, this is definitely one I do want to buy. So it kind of hits me a little bit hard. But I've been trying to be a little bit better myself. I am knocking them shills. LOL. Yeah, I mean, listen, I get it. That's, you don't make a ton of money on YouTube. So I get it. If you can get something for free, why not? Right. I just personally, I just know that when I watch somebody and if they went to the movie early, like, just look at how movies get reviewed now. I know this is way off topic, but when movies get reviewed, like the big Marvel movies, all the reviews start at like 100%, 98%, because they invite the people who are going to give the movie a good review because maybe they're in love with Marvel movies. So they're not technically paying for a review, but they're bringing in people who they know will already probably like this movie. And then the regular critics see it and the regular fans come in. They're like, what the hell is everyone talking about? And that's like seems to be the norm. That they're not letting all the critics see these kinds of movies now, but it's kind of good because for the YouTubers or Instagram and TikTokers or whatever the hell everyone's doing, because they get to go see a movie for free and they get to talk about it for free. But you can just kind of see that, like, even if they want to be honest, it's almost like they don't want to like bite the hand that feeds. I don't care if I bite the hand because I'm not like somebody who's like kind of looking at it. Might hurt the channel, but it's just something that, for me personally, I just feel a little bit dirty with it. But that's just me. Again, I don't fault anyone for doing anything different or thinking different than me. That's for freaking sure. I want for reviews before I buy it. Yeah, I get that also because, that's the one reason why I like to get certain movies to get the reviews out to you guys. It's like, if I'm interested in the movie and if I can review it fast, get it out to you. Like I said, if you had that Blu-ray, it's probably better to not buy the new 4K because it's just an upgrade from that previous, which was already a 2K film, upgraded now to 4K Blu-ray. So yeah, I don't think it's the world's biggest difference, and it's the same exact audio track. So that felt like a very lazy to release to me personally. So I would only recommend that to people who didn't have the previously released Blu-ray. But if you did, then I could say, hey, why don't you go out and grab this? You don't own it yet. It's probably worth it. Like I would have liked The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2 to come to 4K. This is obviously another one. The Conjuring came to 4K right as they're trying to promote The Conjuring Last Rites coming out this Friday, actually, September 5th. So that's coming out. So lines up perfectly. Get people talking about The Conjuring again. It's in their mind. Oh, the new Conjuring movie's coming out. Supposedly the end. This one's the first one. Maybe people will grab this on 4K Steelbook. This did have a standard edition here in the United States, though. I will admit that. I'm saving up to get a subwoofer. Let's get ready to rumble. A subwoofer makes a huge difference. I upgraded my audio system earlier this year. The first time I had upgraded it in a very long time. It was long overdue. So I upgraded that. Hopefully it lasts for a few years because it did cost a good amount of money. But yeah, and if you buy certain ones, you can buy it in pieces, which makes things a lot easier on the wallet as well. So I always appreciate that. This is Akins. You run Warner Brothers. You offer $40 million to GMAs for the which plot for Ace 3. Ace Ventura 3. Oh my god. I don't know what the plot I could do for Ace Ventura 3 would be, but I would definitely obviously be in theaters day one to see it. Mozart's Ghost. I just upgraded to a Struck SW15. It was a good purchase. I listen. I think a good bass, a good subwoofer. It's the perfect purchase. You can never ever go wrong with that. It really does give it that theater feeling in your home. I'll look into that. Thanks. Yeah, no, it's great if you guys can never upgrade your audio. Get a subwoofer. It's something I think that's very important. Get some rears, but obviously within your budget. That's why I always kind of was a fan. I'm not somebody who has these beautiful setups. I have just a regular Sonos setup with the Arc Ultra with the rears and the I got their subwoofer. But you can buy that in pieces. So if you can't afford to you could just buy the Arc and then add the rears later and then add the woofer over time. Help save you guys some money. That was my theory about it, because I can't just go out and buy it. I need to have sometimes that's the good thing about Afterpay. You can pay for it a little bit later, which makes things a lot easier on the wallet, and the wife gets a little less mad about it as well. So that's about as far as that goes, at least. So, what else would I want to talk to you guys about? I guess we could look at the schedule. That's one thing. I'll go over here to blu-ray.com and we can look at that because we can look at what's going to cost us all this money in the next coming months. Usually this video is a 15-minute video on YouTube, pre-recorded, so make it a little bit easier on you guys. Let's add this. Welcome. 1 second, just kind of vamping on my own here. Share screen. So you guys can see that, right? Blu-ray.com. This is where obviously everything's being talked about. Some good sales going on right now. Look at that. $11.99 for Jaws 4K. Not bad. Obviously, the Alfred Hitchcock Classics Collection. The reason why those are on sale right now is because of the Alfred Hitchcock full collection that's coming out, which will include everything from volumes 1, 2, and 3 in one nice, big, beautiful box set. But they're trying to get rid of those real fast. So perfect time to grab that, in my opinion. I actually still need volume 3. We'll go to the release calendar. And let's just look at what's going on. I kind of did this with Frank the other day, but I'll do it with you guys as well. Make new Darkman. Let's see. Great idea. I was trying to put together a pre-order today. Couldn't decide. TMT is a must, though. Yeah, TMNT is one that I already have 110% pre-ordered. I pre-ordered that as soon as I could. I was afraid that would sell out. Thank God it didn't. I think you could still pre-order it, too. So let's see. What do we got left this month? So for September, we're just into it. I told you guys things were a little bit slow. So this week, I would have liked to get this Dark Knight box set. Money's a little bit tight. So I'm actually not getting anything for this week right here. I did want High and Low because Highest and Lowest, which I'll have a review for you guys this Saturday or Sunday. And I did want Jurassic Park Rebirth, but I can wait for a sale on that. But this week, I will definitely have this is Spinal Tap on 4K Blu-ray, and I will definitely have right here Kroll on 4K. I've never seen this one, but this is Gasman's Choice review, and getting a new 4K from Sony. Hey, why not? I think that's pretty much worth it in my opinion. And then you also get that week Halloween and Halloween 2, Requiem for a Dream, which is the most hardest film to rewatch. I don't know if I would ever get that, but I already have the 4K, but I don't know if I would get that version. I just can't imagine rewatching that film much, like every few years. And this, the biggest Terminator fan in the world that I am, I might grab this just because I want to kind of have as much physical media I can on Terminator 1 and 2, but this will include this shitty Terminator 2 scan. And I've watched Terminator 2 a bunch in the last couple weeks. I've watched the Terminator 2 scan on 4K. I watched the downgraded Blu-ray from Studio Canal, and then I watched the Skynet edition, which is the best of them still because it's a little bit less blue. But you're going to have, unfortunately, this is going to have the good Warner Brothers Terminator 1 scan and have that terrible Studio Canal scan. But if you don't have them yet, might be worth it for you. Now, this week, haven't pre-ordered anything yet, but more than likely, I am going to get Superman and 28 Years Later. Haven't decided which one. If you're a big fan of Night of the Living Dead, the 1990 Tom Savini remake, that's coming out. Corpse Bride, which is also getting a re-release in theaters. That's awesome. Airplane 2. No reason to pick that one up, in my opinion. Getting solo releases of all of the James Bond, Sean Connery 4K Blu-rays. Horrible cover art, in my opinion. I actually have reviews for all those here on the channel because I got the beautiful Steelbook collection. So if you are somebody who's been interested in those, I can recommend pretty much all those 4K Blu-rays. But if you're somebody who doesn't want all of them and you're just like, I'm only a fan of Goldfinger or Thunderball or whatever, you want to just grab those, you have the options now. You don't have to get Dr. No if you don't want to get Dr. No. I just wish they would have done a better job on the artwork. In my personal opinion, they really went the lazy route. But other stuff that week as well. Ghost Killer 4K, Beetlejuice 4K. I think that's a re-release of the Steelbook. This is pretty cool. Megan 2 movie collection. If you're somebody who maybe didn't see Megan 2 in theaters and you're interested, maybe grab that. I'm personally somebody who will not. At the end of September, the big one, the one that everyone's excited about, I was able to get my hands on the 4K Steelbook collection. Again, I wish Warner Brothers would have, sorry about that. I wish Warner Brothers would have done a better job with this, making more of them so that everybody who wants this. I've talked to too many people who haven't been able to get this, and then they're going to unfortunately get saddled with this, the standard release, which it's not the worst standard release I've ever seen, but I wish they would have done something a little bit more, in my opinion. And then, what'd you say? I forgot what's coming in the next week. That was fast. Yeah, I mean, we're getting so much. Night of the Living Dead just feels like it got announced not that long ago. Same thing with Silverado, actually. They kind of just dropped those right in our lap. Now this, I talked on Frank's live stream on Monday about Dante's Peak. I feel like they just moved this here after it got delayed earlier this year. And it's not even on Kino Lorber's website, so it doesn't look like that's coming out. I think this was another placeholder date, so I don't think that's coming out that week. The Wes Anderson collection, this I won't be buying right away because $350 is still $350, and I don't have that, so I won't be getting that right away. But the Barnes and Noble 50% off sale. Either I'll get it then, or I'll ask my wife to get that for me for a Christmas present. Because Wes Anderson is actually one of my personal favorite directors. I know not everybody's a big Wes Anderson fan. I totally get that. He's a certain style to him, and all of his movies do kind of feel very similar, except some of his early films do feel, but once you hit the Royal Tenenbaums, that's it. You're in like that dollhouse look, everything's centered, everything's clean, everyone's talking the same. If you're not into that, there's no way you're going to like it. But if you are, you probably love Wes Anderson, and this collection with everything on 4K Blu-ray, just awesome. You'll get solo releases for Isle of Dogs and The French Dispatch. I personally will wait. Creepshow 2 is that week. Life of Chuck, I've been waiting for this. I might grab the 4K Blu-ray if I'm being honest, just because I haven't seen it yet. American Pie, maybe. It's possible. We'll have to wait and see. Mama's coming to 4K that week, but the rest of this, you get the entire airplane set, the entire airport set, rather, from Kino Lorber, if that's something you're into, but not something I will be grabbing. I don't know if you guys are interested in any of this stuff at the end of September, but that week, I'm hoping to get some, but we'll have to wait and see. But coming in October, and this is what I mean, just get ready to be poor, guys. The wallet's empty. The family's upset. The wife's probably kicking you out. It's gonna happen for October because this is just ridiculous. It's a murderer's row for the collectors out there, and somebody's gonna cost a pretty penny. Like I want about 5 of these just on right here. We talked about it, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I have Silverado pre-ordered. Just I'm a big Western fan and an 80s Western at that. And this one is one of the good ones. I really will directed by Lauren Kasdan. So that's I personally love it, but I don't think everybody does. Another Western, The Quick and the Dead. I have this 4K directed by Sam Raimi. Really good. Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. This is one I will get eventually. I have the Blu-ray. I'll probably buy it in a 50% off sale. I don't really need it right now. Spawn. Yeah, I know not everyone loves Spawn, but I love Spawn. And so does my cousin Dennis, my co-host of the Let's Talk Morning Show, and a bunch of shows with me here on the channel. All around great dude. But we're big Spawn fans from 1997. So this is one we're both excited, and I already have it pre-ordered. So that's one that week. And we have so much to talk about when it comes to a bunch of different things that week. I liked Earthquake. Maybe Airport would be good too. You will like Earthquake if you like you will like Airport if you like Earthquake. I definitely. I'm trying to catch up on Alfred Hitchcock. I need to see Vertigo and the Brits. Oh my God. Ben, when you see Vertigo, please let me know what you thought of it. That's my personal favorite Alfred Hitchcock film. I think you're gonna love it, but everyone's different. Already have Clue, but that steel's pretty sweet. Just can't buy the packaging though. Yeah, that's the whole thing. I have Clue on 4K. I love Clue. I just can't rebuy it. If I didn't have it, but those are stone cold classics. Yeah, you're gonna love. You're in for a treat, Ben. You're gonna love them both. Let's see where I'm at here. End of Days. Like this is one I really want. Just like that's just an expensive week where I can't really necessarily justify getting that. Nobody 2 coming out. Lights Out. I think that's a re-release. I know people said Dangerous Animals was a good movie. Scarface 4K release. Mortal Kombat 4K Steelbook. I actually like the original Mortal Kombat. This new Mortal Kombat series. I'm not talking about the 95 one, and then forget what the hell the sequel was. That was terrible. The first one was actually good. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. This is just a standard edition re-release. End of Days 4K again. Child's Play 4K Steelbook. So that's again a re-release. Just I don't really love it when they do things like that, but maybe some people will be interested. Five Nights at Freddy's 4K re-release. Same thing with Hustlers. So for this week, there's a bunch really stands out, but for me, like Rocky Horror Picture Show, Silverado, Spawn. So right now, for me, Silverado and Spawn are the 2 that I have pre-ordered that I'm most excited for. But I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people are definitely excited for some other stuff that week. Vertigo is my first little favorite. Hitchcock. Dan, me too, man. What a classic, right? Van Gool said, Clue is great. I meet Christopher Lloyd and have his autograph as a Professor Plum. That's awesome, actually. I'm jealous. I love Spawn. I remember watching that and Ed's Tales from the Crypt when I was a child. Good times. Yeah, I had a lot of the Spawn toys, and that's something that probably adds to my love of it. When it came out in 97, they made a bunch of toys for the movie. I know that, for a lot of people, it's like a sin compared to like the comic and the animated series, but I have to admit personally that I was a big fan of it, and I still get those nostalgic feelings. Do I know that there's flaws in that movie? Oh my God, there's a ton. Still like it. We all have our blind spots. I've never seen Back to the Future trilogy. I think that's that, right? Is Back to the Future trilogy? LOL. Hey, listen, exactly. We all have our blind spots. We don't judge here. Just remember, you need to watch Arlington Road. I'm dying to know what you think of that movie. Well, thanks for reminding me because I definitely forgot. You should remind me again too because I might forget again. That's my own personal flaw. Unfortunately, I have a whole list of movies I have to see, but I do want to watch that. October 13th. What is this? The Return of the Living Dead. This is the Arrow video release. We have it here in the United States already. I have it, the Shout Factory release. I'd be curious to know if there's anything different about this. This is my personal favorite zombie film. October 14th, not exactly spooky season, but that's when we're getting Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. We saw what the 4K Steelbook looks like. I have the standard edition pre-ordered. I think it had like an accidental price on there, and I was able to snag it for like $20. Me personally, pretty excited about that. But unfortunately, like a lot of people, I didn't love Final Reckoning. I really felt like it ended the series on a whimper. I'm hoping I feel different on rewatch, but I can't imagine that the 4K is going to make that plot any better. This movie's interesting. I don't know if you guys ever saw The Bone Collector. I remember watching this in a forensics class in like high school, and I've seen this movie a lot more than I imagined I ever would. So I kind of have a soft spot for it, even though I don't think it's that great of a movie. It's actually one that I've just seen a lot. It's weird. I know a lot of people are excited about the Devil's Rejects 4K Steelbook coming out. That's cool. I've told you guys, not my favorite, Asylum on 4K. Back to the Future. This is another re-release celebrating its 40th anniversary. The 4K Steelbooks are absolutely gorgeous. That just got announced that you can pre-order right now on Groove. These are 4K re-releases again, same exact scans, which are very good scans. I'm on the fence. I really like the 4K Steelbooks that came out last time. When you put them together, they make the DeLorean. I thought that those were beautiful. The new ones, they're cool. They're different. If you don't have it, I can recommend it. I might grab them only because my Back to the Future 4K has like a pause in it for a slight second. That, you know how that is. It kind of gets on your nerves. So I might actually end up grabbing that because I'm just very interested in it. Interested in the artwork. I'm obviously a big fan of all the Back to the Future movies. Here's this Alfred Hitchcock Ultimate Collection, like I was saying. It's just all the movies from volumes 1, 2, and 3 put in one big, beautiful package. I would just recommend that to people who don't have any of the Alfred Hitchcock movies on 4K Blu-ray, because if you own them already, there's probably no point in grabbing this, but maybe you want to, but because, the artwork is cool. It looks nice. I just need to grab volume 3, so there's no real reason for me. Baskin 4K. Right down here, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. I actually love this steelbook. I love Season of the Witch, but I can't justify buying that just for the packaging. Wish I could, but I can't. I can't do it. I just can't do it, Captain. I don't have the power. This isn't actually what you guys can see, right? I hope not. Let me see. So we continue on. See, there's the steelbooks right here that we were just talking about. You can see them all. Right here is this is beautiful 4th anniversary edition. There is so much celebrating Back to the Future's 40th anniversary, and they're re-releasing it in theaters on Halloween, which is a weird date to pick for that. I wouldn't have done that. But yeah, so October 14th looks very, very expensive. Then you come to October 21st. And I already have paid for, can't wait for History of Violence on 4K Blu-ray, directed by David Cronenberg, and Altered States on 4K. Had those both pre-ordered. Place Beyond the Pines, I have to pre-order. This is the same week we're getting Eddington, which is one of my favorite films of the year. I personally really want to grab that. I can't wait to rewatch that again. It's, like I said, one of the best films of the year. Ari Aster does it again. Another director that I don't expect everybody to love that film. You have to really be on board with their style. And if you like Ari Aster's other films, you'll like Eddington. If you didn't like it, this is not going to change your mind. This is definitely not that kind of movie. We're going to be getting Saw 2, 3, and 4 4K Steelbooks. These are Amazon exclusives that week. Pretty cool. I think still Saw 2 is the second best of them. Maybe I'll grab that. I have the Saws on Blu-ray. I'm not the world's biggest Saw fan. They're fine. They were really something I liked in the 2000s. So it was like a Halloween tradition to go to theaters and see them every single Halloween. But they're not something like I really run back to. The acting's just not the greatest. Now, Rampage, coming out from Kino Lorber. I just actually watched this for the first time earlier this year. This is directed by, who was this directed by? William Friedkin, actually. That's right. I was doing a William Friedkin thing. So this is one that, if I remember right, it got put on the shelf after it was already filmed. And there's 2 cuts of this, and both cuts are going to be released by Kino Lorber. And I remember the movie's actually pretty good, worth a watch. Stars Michael Biehn. Some really crazy scenes in it. This comes out 21st as well. Might grab that, but more than likely I will wait for a sale. This is where I guess we're getting solo releases or for Superman collection again, which is weird. Nosferatu also comes out that week, the 70s version. I know a lot of people are probably really excited for that. Mozart's Ghost, A History of Wallet Abuse, a story of physical media collectors. Yeah, like look at this month, man. Like there's no way everybody can get everything they wanted. And then forget it. We still got the end of the month. And like I said, In the Mouth of Madness and the Nightmare Alley 4K Digipad, a 4-disc set. I got that pre-ordered, and I have the Nightmare Alley 4K Blu-ray, the one that already came out, but I love Guillermo del Toro. I know that this is to help also promote Frankenstein coming to Netflix, and I can't wait to see that too. Like, I'm a little bit of a shill for Guillermo, so I'm really excited for Nightmare Alley. I think it's a very underrated film. Can't wait to see this in this beautiful black and white glory. In the Mouth of Man, this is one I've been waiting for forever, so can't wait to see that. Some people I know are really excited for Miss 45 on 4K. I want to grab that. That's Ava Ferreira. That's like the movie that really kind of came off of him making porn. He started to make that's like his first like kind of mainstream one. Excited about that. Here's the Airport Collection, Death Wish 3, which we talked about. Deep Crimson. These are all the Halloween trick or treats getting a 4K steelbook release together. Something I haven't seen yet. I can't wait. There's Hush. Here's where you'll also see. This is where all the Toxic Avenger, the new one, is coming out on 4K Blu-ray October 28th. So yeah, a very, very expensive end to October that is just going to absolutely destroy the wallets, but should be a lot of fun watching it. I heard Dust Devil is worth checking out. So did I, actually. What's his name? Havo on the artist formerly known as Twitter and Facebook was talking about that. So that's one I have never seen before. I'm excited to check it out for myself as well. Maybe I'll grab that one. I think it's getting somebody's doing the UK release and giving it a beautiful collector's edition as well. That's one that people are excited about. So it seems like a B movie, if I'm correct, but I'm not entirely sure. Very excited about it. Eli, what's up, everyone? What's up, Eli? Glad you could pop in here. It is getting close to the end of the video, but it does look like from the amount of people we've had watching here today that you guys kind of like this live version of it, which is awesome. I really appreciate you guys popping in and checking this out. I think it's a little bit more fun to do it this way. I don't know what you guys think. You guys let me know if you guys like it more live, or I just checked Vertigo 4K is $11.99 on Amazon right now. I'll wait till Friday. Yeah, man. I really think you'll love it. What's up, Eli? You guys are talking to each other. I really believe, Ben, you'll like the movie. Vertigo. It's one of the all-time classics. Some people say Psycho is his best film. I get that, but I've always been a Vertigo guy. And there's so many movies that have taken from it. Like if you like Body Double, you'll definitely like Vertigo, and you'll see exactly where he finally got where he was taking everything from. So I think you'll really like it if you've never seen it before. Trying to come up with a buying strategy for the coming months. Like I've had to take a little break. That's why there hasn't been any new 4K Blu-ray reviews here on the channel. We've just kind of been doing some spooky season stuff and, kind of concentrating on doing some other things because there's nothing that really interests me at the beginning of September. Not going to force myself to buy something. And then, like you guys just saw what October looks like. So we're going to get killed, but I think that it'll probably be worth it. Tron 4K Steelbook there on Amazon, but unavailable. Now that's news. I haven't saw that before. Yeah, unavailable means I guess they just set up the page and maybe we can bookmark it. They're not sold out yet, I hope. I haven't even seen them have a page yet. So this is at first for Tron, which is exactly how we opened today's episode, was talking about Tron. Hopefully we can get these. Where is it? There we go. Hopefully we are all able to get these. Fingers crossed and that we have no issue. Favorite What About Bob scene? I'm a sailor. I'm sailing. That's a classic one. Great movie. Richard Dreyfuss and what's his name? Why am I drawing? Wow. That's just late at night for me, guys. I'm forgetting about Bill Murray now. But yeah, these are where we started the show talking about the Tron movies. Hopefully, everybody out there is happy hunting. They can get their hands on these 4K Steelbooks. I got my fingers crossed on that I'm able to actually get these because I'm looking forward to checking them out. If I miss out on them, I miss out. I guess that happens, but I really hope I'm able to. I don't want to have to go the import route like we talked about with tariffs here today. I don't want to go that route, but we'll have to wait and see. But we're going to be doing this every Wednesday, guys. Mark your calendars. All the physical media news that you guys want to know about every single Wednesday, 6:45 p.m. right here on the Let's Talk channel. Just to promote everything else that's coming out in the upcoming days. Tomorrow, we will have our original versus remake with Dennis and I for Roadhouse. We'll be checking that one out. On Friday, you'll have everything I saw in August ranked from worst to first. I think it was like 32 movies. I'll either have my review out Saturday or Sunday for highest to lowest, the latest film from Spike Lee. And then, next week we'll have plenty more coming for you guys. So make sure you mark your calendars for our live shows. I think Outland will be a blind buy. Love sci-fi. Never saw that myself. Maybe I'll check that one out. A lot of people, including the original Fuzz. I know the original Fuzz was really excited about it. Don't think he loved the artwork either, but I know that he's really excited about checking that one out. I know he said it was a favorite of his, and if he puts his stamp on it, me and him usually have very similar tastes. So I might actually check that out as well. Mozart's goes. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, it's going to do it here on Let's Talk Physical Media. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. You know, the whole shebang. There's channel memberships out there if you want to become a channel friend, a producer for the channel, like Ben Rondo, who's in the chat right now. You can do that. Harvey Scott is a channel producer as well, just like John Doe Juggalo. Like I said, it's a great YouTube channel. You can become channel director, like Frank from Frank's Media Reviews, Nicholas Head. I'm trying to remember everyone. Kevin Kruger. Who else is in there? I know I'm forgetting a lot of people. Stone Gas Man, who I know I'm forgetting someone, and Uncle V. And then, of course, you can bump it up like to Mr. Smelly Potato, become a channel bankroll member. But guys, don't worry about it. If you got no money, it's from my way. Don't mind. I just hope you guys enjoyed this, and I really do. So hopefully you guys did. And if you did, make sure you guys come back next Wednesday where we'll do this all over again. Have a good night, guys, and I'll see you around.